All right, listen, if your defense in CFB26 has been softer than a warm biscuit, today is the day that ends, because I'm about to show you how you can build an ironclad, grandma can't break it, lockdown defense for your dynasty team. I'm talking run defense so nasty it makes your opponents rethink their life choices. A secondary so tight it rotates, reads, and undercut passes like it majored in physics studies. And interceptions, oh, you'll be catching more picks than Amazon on a Black Friday. If you're tired of being used as a doormat in your dynasty, if you're done watching the CPU run through your team like you're doing charity work, this video is for you. By the time we're done, your defense will have the people rage quitting faster than a kid who got his console unplugged mid-game. Let's get into it. Welcome back, coaches. Dad Son Gaming here with another CFB26 video. Grab your clipboards, tighten up your headsets, because today we're diving deep. Now, if you're new around here, let me remind you, make sure you subscribe, because this information we're going to give you is coming against a highly competitive dynasty full of dudes with 10+ years digital football experience. Some of these guys have been playing EA college football since it first came out in 2005. So you know I'm playing against dudes with sweat-stained controllers and egos bigger than their playbook. I decided to take over Georgia Tech for a full rebuild, and I've been grinding this dynasty since early access, so everything I'm about to drop on you is coming straight from this battle-tested, hardcore experience and not theory. In a league like this, where people play like their mortgage depends on it, one thing is painfully clear. If your defense is trash, you're food. And to compete with these monsters, you need more than hope and a Hail Mary. You need elite personnel and elite structure, period. A championship defense starts up front. You need a defensive line that can bully the trenches, pressure the quarterback, and rack up sacks without you having to pray for them. Behind that, you need linebackers with stone cold eyes, guys who can shoot the gaps, blow up runs, and disguise coverage, and snag interceptions when the moment matters. That's your front seven, your fortress. And then comes your secondary. The last line between victory and getting embarrassed. They need to read, react, handle fast-paced passing attacks without panicking. These ability matchups will decide every 50-50 ball, every red zone fade, every 1v1 island battle. Some plays they'll be stranded out there like a reality TV contestant, and they need to make a better play on the ball in order to get that interception. Today we're breaking down exactly what personnel, abilities, and strategies you need to build a vicious, suffocating lockdown defense that wins dynasties, not just games. Let's cook. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're inside of our competitive user dynasty. And as you see, it is highly sweaty up in here. And we are playing every game on Heisman difficulty. Even the CPU games can get kind of sweaty depending on who you face. Now, so far I am 6-0. And as you see on my team schedule, I started off with 3 user games, and I have more user games that I'm going to end up playing. And 2 of these games were back-to-back away games. How I survived is because of the defense. Now, in this video, I know you're going to have your defense that you already want to have set for how you play, but I'm going to maybe give you some tips that's allowed me to get a lot of turnovers based on certain abilities meshing well together. So if you have abilities that are congruent, you're going to boost your defense and do better in certain areas that you want to be better in, such as getting more interceptions, such as being able to have more block sheds. Let's go right into our team. We're going to go to view rosters, and I'm going to go right to the defensive line, specifically the defensive tackle position. And my starting defensive tackle is not ideal, but he is a pure power defensive tackle. Literally, as we open this card up, I'm going to show you his physical ratings. He has grip breaker on platinum, which means that he can actually get a boost to lateral sheds on run. So he does have the ability to get some sheds on running. He also has pocket disruptor, as well as workhorse and hammer. And hammer is great for literally getting hit stick attempts and hopefully causing fumbles. And again, I generally would probably set my tackling on aggressive if I really need a fumble for him to go and get those fumbles. Now, he does not get inside disruptor. Inside disruptor is a specific ability built to stop inside runs. So like those inside zones, if a lot of people are running those on you, you need to make sure you have an inside disruptor on the field to help get potential sheds on those runs. Now, if we go back and look at his archetype, again, he's just a pure power, but I do have a gap specialist in here as well. That's a freshman that will be starting next year. And as he gets his abilities, as you see, he is built more so to stop the runs. He can stop the inside runs, also outside runs, and he has grip breaker. So having a mix of different defensive linemen is great because you can put together certain packages based on certain situations. If you know a person is going to run the ball and they're going to try to get short yardage, then you may want to put more gap specialists on the field for that particular situation. If you think he's going to pass and you know he's going to pass, then you may want to do the opposing thing by putting more power rushers on there to pressure the quarterback. Now, as we go to the next position, which is, go back in here again, which is the edge rusher position. This is one of my favorite positions on defense to really load because this position can get really, really dicey. As you see, Tavares Smoker is my defensive edge rusher. And one thing I like about the edge rushers is that they get quick jump. So if you get a archetype with quick jump, that's the best ability to have off the edge. As a matter of fact, in one of the clips I showed you, he was able to get a block shed and quickly hit the quarterback and get a fumble because of this quick jump ability that combined with his takedown ability. So when you look at this, quick jump is great for beating the pass rush. Duress is great for making quarterbacks inaccurate. Then you have takedown, which is good against those quarterbacks who have extender. And again, if a quarterback has extender, you want to make sure you have a defensive personnel with takedown so they can tackle that quarterback or else he's going to break a sack. Then you have pocket disruptor and then you have recoup. But those abilities are great. But another thing that he does for me is he also makes my entire defense better because of his mental ability, defensive rally. A lot of people forget about mental abilities like this, but when he gets a tackle for loss, the entire defensive line gets better. And let me tell you how important this ability can be. You've been in a game where you've seen your ability show up, and then you'll see your ability show up in different colors. Let's say you have a gold ability. Well, during the game when composure is high, you might see that gold ability show up as a platinum ability, or you might see that platinum ability show up as a legend ability in red. So defensive rally has the potential to increase all of my defensive line's abilities up by one tier because of composure. So that brings it all together. So you do want to make sure you have a defensive rally person on your line because it makes your entire line better. So now let's move on to the linebackers. And again, this archetype is a speed rusher. And again, you do have your power rusher, which is a little bit different. And I'll just kind of show you those. Sometimes I keep those in just for being able to kind of get almost the same abilities. Now they're going to rarely have a quick jump. They're going to have more type of power type of animations. So as we go over here to the right edge rusher, I'm going to kind of show you this as well too. You will have some that have inside disruptor ability. And you're like, man, he's on the outside as an edge rusher. That really won't do me any good. Well, one thing you can do if you do get this position is you can move him over to defensive tackle and again, utilize his block shedding more effectively. And that's something I would definitely do. And I would see how his stats turn out. So that's another thing you could do if you do happen to get those edge rushers that are pure power. So again, I have a lot of those, and you also have an edge setter. The edge setter is really good if you know that someone's going to be running outside or doing options. These edge setters are just built to stop those runs. So he gets inside disruptor, outside disruptor, option disruptor, and grip breaker. So again, as he develops, that'll be my edge run stopper. So again, you do want to have that variety type. So these literally are the ones that like speed rusher, power rusher, and edge setter. I will have a variety of those on my team. Now moving on to linebacker, again, you have your Sam and your Mike. I'm going to go with Sam. On your linebacker, one of the most valuable abilities that I find, especially when the offensive line is really good, is having the ability called blow up. I have a ton of linebackers with this blow up ability. You probably will too. And blow up is, again, a ability that helps with blocking resistance. So that means when they do those pulls or they do those traps, a lot of times your linebacker won't be affected by the block and be able to fight them off and hit. the running back in the backfield. So a lot of times I love blow up, and they're on a lot of my linebackers. And those are good abilities to have, as well as wrap up. And so as I move on to my mics, as you see, I have a lot of blow ups, a lot of wrap ups, a lot of hammers. Again, those are great abilities. But one of the most amazing abilities I can have on linebackers and really anywhere on the field is aftershock. And I'm going to show you guys, I have a lot of linebackers with aftershock. There's one, I believe I have another one here. There's two, I think I have a third one here, and there's three. The reason why I really look for those, and you're going to find those on your thumpers. So again, that archetype is a thumper mainly. You're going to find that aftershock ability on a lot of your thumpers. And what this does is, it is an affliction ability. So the best way to beat a good offensive team is to take out their players. So if you put 3 or 4 aftershocks on the field, what's going to happen is by the third quarter, their offensive players are going to be injured. Because if you keep getting hit by aftershock after aftershock, then your players is not going to be able to take that wear and tear, and they're going to have to leave the game. I've literally put other people's star players out for entire seasons because of these aftershocks, and that has been game changing for me. So definitely, if you can get some aftershocks on your linebacker position, I would definitely suggest it. But blow up, wrap up, aftershock are great. Sometimes you get a linebacker with house call, but me in particular, my archetype I love is those thumpers. Those signal callers are great too. As you see, he has platinum blow up and platinum wrap up. And sometimes you'll get coverage linebackers, but for me, you know, there's lurker here, they get bouncer. I really like the thumper or the signal caller. That's kind of my ideal linebacker. Now, going on to cornerbacks, this is where you can get those lockdown abilities. And so I'm going to go into one of my cornerbacks here. My ideal ability on a cornerback, if I could choose one, would definitely be the ball hawk and the knockout and the blanket coverage. These three right here are just absolutely perfect because the knockout literally gives your cornerback the ability to knock the ball out against facing those shorthanded. So if you got a knockout facing the shorthand, more than likely they can jar that ball loose. Blanket coverage is great for man-to-man coverage, and ball hawk is going to improve his break. Now, he does not get ball hawk. He only gets blanket coverage and knockout, but that's also pretty decent. He also gets robber, which is good for zone, and wrap up. Again, he can tackle, and you do have workhorse wide receiver, so wrap up is still good. But my other cornerback literally is my favorite, and this one is pretty much loaded. So he doesn't get knockout, but he does get the physical ability of blanket coverage, which means that, again, I can leave on the island. He gets jammer, and then he also gets house call, and he does get ball hawk. He doesn't have the ability to get knockout, but again, if you have ball hawk, house call, and blanket coverage, you literally have 2 cornerbacks that can sit on an island. And as you see right here, both of these cornerbacks are starting for me, and they get a lot of good interceptions. Now, as I go through the rest of my cornerback and my secondaries, blanket coverage here, blanket coverage there, and the archetype for this guy is a bump and run. So a lot of your bump and runs are going to have this. So if you do want to get some, some bump and runs that are great, and maybe if you want to run a zone, you can try to find those hybrid zone backs. So again, I got some field, some boundaries. Again, that and archetype mixed in there. But I love the bump and run more importantly, because I can actually just play zones with them, and I can still get that man-to-man coverage. And we know man-to-man coverage can be locked down, and you're going to need them with these special abilities. Now on to the free safety. Now, again, I love the ability aftershock. Sometimes I do like to have a box specialist as my safety. And I do like to have coverage specialists, but I do want to have a box specialist. I want to have a safety that can come up and lay the wood, because I get a lot of fumbles from safeties like that and a lot of key hits to jar the ball loose. So again, when we're looking at our secondary, remember, you do need some coverage abilities, because these wide receivers are going to have abilities like workhorse. They're going to have press pro. They're going to have takeoff. And these abilities will be able to counter those wide receivers and give you a chance. And remember, you can always put in different packages. Now, at my strong safety, I really don't have a strong safety that's developed yet. So literally what I do is I actually moved my cornerback over here to one of my safeties. So again, I have this cornerback over here as a safety because he has robber. And generally, if I run a zone, robber is a great ability to have inside of the zone. Improved movement and zone coverage, which is great that means they can come down and they can jump some of those passes. So as you've seen on some of my clips, as my safeties came in, a lot of times they're able to get underneath those passes and jump them. That's why I love having that ability. And there is an ability that I did skip over that I do like on my linebacker. And let me share that with you as well too, so I don't forget it. So there is an ability here. Let me find it here. There's also a passive ability called Instinct. If you get a linebacker with this mental ability called Instinct, then that gives them also quicker reaction on run plays. So every now and again, if I can get an Instinct, as well as some of these abilities here with the blow up and wrap up, then that gives me a better chance of stopping the run. Now, with all these abilities that you have, all these archetypes that you have, one of the main things that's a big secret into boosting my defense is getting coordinators who are basically, let me show you right here, getting coordinators who have the ability of Scheme Guru. Now, on defense, let me tell you why this is so cool. If I go to Scheme Guru, as you see, I do have a defensive coordinator with this ability. One of the things that he has is he has puncher's chance. So any one of these are good. So the pass game defense gives everyone on the field the ability to increase knockout chances for passes. So again, I have it all the way up to 20 yards. So that means linebackers and cornerbacks can also have additional abilities to knock the ball out. And if I can get points in this ability, this is ground and pound defense. This will give additional block sheds on top of everything else. If you can get a Scheme Guru in there to improve your defense, if you have your coaching built up really good where you're getting recruits, you can get a Scheme Guru. I definitely would say it is a good improvement early on until you're getting the players that you need, because that can be a big, big boost. So folks, this is pretty much it. These are the abilities. You can actually combine them. You can create separate packages for them. And again, those are the archetypes that you want to have to complete your good stopping defense. Now, if you want to know the specific defenses I use, the blitzes I set up, how I organize the personnel, and how I do lockdown coverage, let me know. I'll make another video. But meanwhile, comment below. What is your ideal defense? How do you like to build your defense? What players do you put where? I'd love to know. Let's keep this conversation going. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this video will help you to figure out the type of abilities that you need to have. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.